Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts back once again on the reaction for you guys. Today, guys, of course, we are continuing the journey of the Batman. It's the Batman Season 4, Episode 8, titled Seconds. That's interesting. Seconds. What is that referring to? I don't know. I'm really kind of confused on it, but we'll find out, of course, in the episode why it's called Seconds. So, last week's episode, Artifacts, was to me one of the most interesting and, in my personal opinion, one of the best episodes of the Batman so far. In regards to the 2027 timeline, obviously paying an homage, a tribute to The Dark Knight Returns. They even say it within there. Mr. Freeze's like, The Dark Knight Returns. But seeing an older Bruce, seeing Oracle, Barbara in the wheelchair, Alfred's still alive, which was great, because I honestly thought he's probably not alive at this point, but he still is kicking. And we have Nightwing, which was awesome. And people started to point out in the comments of that reaction saying, it's interesting in this timeline we didn't get to see a Tim Drake Robin or a Red Hood. Like, did Jason ever show up? And I was, because I never really thought about that while watching the episode, and especially like learning what the episode was about, and then afterwards in the review I really didn't think about that too much. But maybe the implication is maybe there was at one point a Jason. But also think about this as well, the Artifacts episode wasn't structured to be a full 21 minute episode of just that timeline. We were also dealing with 1,000 years in the future, where Mr. Freeze unthaws and everything, and they have to figure out, going through the Batcave when they discover it, how to stop him 1,000 years in the future from when 2027 occurs. So it wasn't like we had a lot of time to explore that timeline, what happens a little bit in the future. So maybe if we had more time, potentially we could have seen Jason or Tim, but we only stuck with who we knew, right? In terms of Barbara and Dick and Alfred and of course Bruce. If you expand past that and go, here's Red Hood in 2027, we go, okay, can we learn more about that? Because we probably wouldn't have enough time to explore that. So, but I really enjoyed it. It was really cool to see an older Bruce, and just to see that they are still out there protecting the city all these years later, when things have definitely changed in terms of the team and everything and how they structure things, but they were still protecting Gotham, and that's what was important. I really enjoyed the episode. I wish we would have gotten more. I wish we would have gotten more. But anyways, guys, let's get into now. Let's check out this episode, Season 4, Episode 8, Seconds of the Batman. Let's go. Oh yeah, alarm's gonna go off, I think. Oh, clumsy. He's just slowly... Okay. And he hits it. Okay. What the hell? Oh, Barbara's there. Of course he's playing a video game.
Almost there. Does anyone have any New Year's resolutions?
Yes.
Master Dick?
I resolved to kick more butt.
Any resolutions?
Your
Same as
resolution?
every year.
What?
Do my part to help Gotham City.
Well, you do that.
Batwave, let's move.
Batwave, go.
Now?
Yes.
This time at Gotham University.
Third one.
It's that guy who can reverse time somehow.
And I doubt he's done.
Nothing. Nada.
Well,
Zip.
not yet.
How about you,
Just
Robin?
wait. Oh, he's freezing.
Clear.
I've spotted our man.
Be careful. He has some sort of magical power. How can he do that, though? Yep.
Ah, the Batman.
Oh! Oh, damn!
And
He's just
fail.
learning, okay, what moves he's gonna throw at him, he can
Miss
dodge.
me. Aha.
Too slow. If he's conscious, he can do this. If he's unconscious, he can't, I think. That one worked. So how do you stop somebody who can reverse time?
Staged. Like you knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
I mean, it's true. What is he building?
It's almost done, Beth. They stole you and Matt away from me. It's okay, Nat. It's okay. Daddy's here.
How are we going to pay all these
Oh, boy.
bills?
Yeah, how?
Don't worry, honey.
Oh, he works for a watch repair place? He steals that, doesn't he? I'm assuming. But how does he get his powers to reverse time a few seconds? Yeah. Idiot. My god. Massive pile up. Yeah. You better run.
Francis Gray was paroled last month after spending 17 years in prison.
17?
Time to be away from your family.
The atomic clocks in the cave and my suit should keep perfect synchronized time. Yet there's a discrepancy of several seconds between the two. Base components to make radium trichloromethate.
I'm
What's
guessing
that?
that's not the secret ingredient in Alfred's eggnog.
Love the bat cycles. Love that. Oh?
Robin, by the way, is French for duh.
You know who I am. Then you know that my prison sentence was totally unfair.
You committed a crime.
I
Yeah.
took a watch, and you spend the rest of your life paying for it.
How'd you do that?
Whoa.
I don't know. You can manipulate time. And in such a way, you're the only one aware you've experienced the previous moment.
It's easy to become obsessed with time when that's all you have. Job to fix all the guards' clocks, I was suddenly surrounded by it. Seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks.
He's trying to control the time. Thought there'd be like a different explanation than that.
Every day of the next 15 years working on it.
I wanted to go back 20 years before any
Can't.
of this happened.
You know what time it is now?
Time to kick my sorry butt?
But we've
Yeah,
already had
we've
this
already had
fight.
this.
8. No, 9. 9 times.
He knows everything.
Flying kick from
Oh my
Batgirl.
gosh.
Left, right.
How do you stop somebody who can reverse time? How do you do it?
It's his power. That's how he's outrunning us.
It's
Yeah,
like a video game.
of course.
You can play the same level over and over again.
Then this could be the 10th time we've had this conversation.
Yeah,
Whoa, brain hurts.
maybe. I don't know. Is this his first time attempting this? Seems like no, he succeeded, so he didn't. Oh, he's going. Ooh, barely. I'm not sure there is a way to cut him off, though. Like, to stop him. What the hell?
Here we go.
This is crazy as hell. Oh. Snowpile.
So how do we stop someone who knows what we're gonna do before
Oh, stop.
we do?
Stop that.
Deja Vu again? Tonight's New Year's Eve celebration in Gotham Town
How
Square.
convenient.
And thousands
Christmas
of
just
people
happened,
hit
so
with
yeah.
this poison gas.
Wait, I have a special mission for you.
Hello, Batman.
I suppose we've been through all this before.
Only 1 minute to midnight, Batman. Ice pellet? That's cold, Batman.
Don't make another mistake.
Let's try that again.
Whoa.
Left jab. Dad?
Dad? Exactly.
What are you doing?
Reverse it, reverse it, reverse it. He's walking away. Wow. So none of this ever happened.
How about you, Master Bruce?
Sure you won't join us for some eggnog?
Wow. So we're on
No,
clocks.
thanks, Mr. Wayne.
Working with his
Let's get
son,
going.
that's so adorable. That's crazy. If I was to guess before watching this episode what it was going to be about, I would not have guessed it was about a guy that somehow in prison working on all the clocks that was in the prison or whatever, and he was a clock maker, he worked on clocks or whatever. That was his like job before he got arrested and everything. If you would have asked me to guess, I would never have guessed that this guy would have found a way to stop time and start reversing it by 1 second, then 3, and then 5, 10, and 20. And then at the end of the episode, reverse it all the way back to the decision that ultimately caused him to be arrested, put away for 17 or 18 years or whatever, and then his family was gone and everything. And all this unfolded, like none of this now would have happened because now the timeline has now shifted because of his choice of not stealing that clock from his work, and then all the car crashes and all that kind of stuff and the explosion and everything, and he was arrested for all that. I would never have guessed that this is what the episode was going to be about. But I will say, it is quite intriguing. It is definitely one of the most unique episodes of the show so far. This show, The Batman, has been fantastical with some storylines in terms of things being over the top. I think back on the zombie episode we had a couple weeks ago where it wasn't zombies, it was all in Batman, and for a part of it, Robin's head thinking everybody around them were zombies and everything. Ultimately not the case. It was all a test by Hugo Strange. And I think back on the episode where Poison Ivy had plant versions of people running around, the police and everything, and then having all the people in Gotham slowly put into cocoons, and they're placed in this like dream or whatever to enjoy plant life and everything, and Gotham's being taken over by plant people. Like, this show has been very fantastical in that sense with certain storylines like that. With this, it's a whole different way of dealing with over-the-top storylines with Batman involved and dealing with time travel, so there's more of a sci-fi element or whatever. It's really interesting how they handled it. So the guy, and the explanation of how he could do this, it only makes sense in a fantastical Batman world, because if this guy really figured out how to deal with time travel in a sense from his own perspective and his own interpretation of it, they would have found some sort of machine or something, but yet he just somehow did it randomly in prison. Like, it just like, okay. Anyways, I wish they would have explained a little bit better, because I was expecting him to see some sort of machine or something happens, falls into some sort of chemical base or something to where it alters him and makes him to where he can reverse time. But no, he just somehow, he's surrounded by time and he's consumed by losing time, and all of a sudden he can just stop time and reverse it for himself. I wish they would have changed that. But anyways, so he's able to, like, from his perspective, it's and reverses everything back. He can, okay, I need to do this instead. You do this instead. And we had the whole guard at the beginning of the episode, and he had a fall and everything with the bucket, and then he reversed it, took the thing out without the alarm going off, walking slowly, and then stepping over the bucket of water with the mop, and then of course the guard falls and everything, and then he's just gone. And then when they have the first encounter with Batman and him, because like they did two perspectives. We had the perspective of him reversing time, constantly making decisions, because he gets punched and he reverses so he can dodge the punch. He gets kicked and he reverses to dodge the punch, and then blocks something, and then gets hit again. Then he continuously can. So we see the perspective of him reversing time to relive the moments over and over and over. And then where he's like saying catchphrases and he reverses it to say the catchphrase again, blah blah blah, because he's like, that was a bad one. So he reverses just to say a different phrase. And then Bruce starts getting deja vu, and then the suit has an internal clock, and there's discrepancies with the clock. So he's like, something's going on. And of course, Barbara and Dick, they're like, there's more important things going on than worrying about this or whatever. And of course, when this is all happening at the beginning of the episode, we have to where Alfred's working on the clock. Ultimately, the guy ends up working on when the timeline is changed. It's like he did his own flashpoint, essentially, that guy. So, and also too, we had Dick Grayson playing a video game, and they reference that a little bit later in regards to playing a level over and over and over, and then learning every move to beat it. And that's basically what this guy's doing. He was reliving the level to beat it. So when they all confront him, then we see the different perspective, because the opening of the episode in the first confrontation with Batman, we're seeing him reverse time over and over and over and over and over. So we see the repeats. But in the second half of the episode, when they realize that he's making some sort of chemical poison bomb or something to drop off course on New Year's with the ball drop, we then see from their perspective where nothing, like, we don't see time being reversed. We see it a little bit towards the end, but like when they're all three fighting him and they're all chasing him through the streets, and his car should not be able to beat them in terms of their the bikes and the Batmobile, but it's because he's went through this so many times, he's able to bypass everything and beat them. So when he's like blocking all the moves from all three of them and calling them out, like a flying kick from Batgirl, and then he throws her into Batman and everything, we're not seeing all the repeats. We're just seeing him continuously just winning, because he's been reversing time throughout all of this, but to their perspective, everything is the same. So it's really interesting how we saw his perspective, the constant repeats for a lot of things, and then for their perspective, everything's just flowing smoothly. But then a major shift occurs because I'm like sitting there like freaking out because I saw the picture. I think it was this Matthew Gray or something, the son who was a baby at the time when he was arrested. And so when Batman says, I have a special mission for you, Barbara, I'm assuming it was to go find the son, but I wasn't 100% sure, but I kind of assumed it was. But when the ball dropped and the gas bomb exploded and Batman died, Robin died, all these people died, his son like was starting to die, he had a mask or whatever. Barbara was dead as well. Everybody was pretty much dying around him, and he screams and loses his mind so loud he reverses all the way back to the decision. Which, convenient, yes, it's a comic book show, so yes, it's very convenient. But at the same time, he had said that he can never fully reverse all the time back. But when he does, he makes a decision not to take it. And then now he's working on the clock that Alfred was working on at the beginning of the episode, talking about resolutions and everything. And him and his son are owning a clock repairing business. And I'm assuming the wife is alive and everything, as he said about he has his own family to go to because Bruce offered the guy to stay, thanking them for working on the clock. And you want to stay here, drink some eggnog or whatever. So I think they even said Alfred has a special version of eggnog or something. I don't know. But but the timeline is now for the better. Because he never learned how to mess with time because he didn't have to. He didn't lose time. I mean, he knew. The thing is, too, he didn't know that Bruce was Batman or whatever, so he remembers all that he went through up to that point, and so he knew, what not to do. So I'm guessing he would still have the ability, or maybe not, since he changed that moment of him stealing the clock. That means to me he doesn't have the power anymore because he never got to the point where he's in prison surrounded by all those clocks. And then he somehow magically was able to mess with time. But, yeah. The whole car chase scene was really interesting as well because that one little part where Barbara and Dick are talking and, like, saying, it's like a level, he's like, because I mentioned the whole thing about level, we're repeating over and over and over. That's pretty much what it is. When he drives straight on into oncoming traffic, because he's driving one way, all the cars are coming this way and he's going this way, I'm like, if he crashes the car and dies, he can't reverse time. So he must have really figured out. I would have liked to have seen how he was figuring out how to drive through oncoming traffic directly all coming towards him without dying. And I also theorized if he's unconscious, he can't reverse time. So I think they could have found a way to punch or kick something so hard that he's knocked out. But they never got to that part. Briefly as well, before everything kind of goes haywire and everyone starts to die, before he reverses everything back to that moment, we had that moment. He's starting to reverse time a little bit, fighting Batman one-on-one. When the ball's dropping, he punches him, so he reverses time, and then he knows where the punch is coming, but Batman then hits him another way and then kicks him another way when he reverses time again. He's like, how are you doing that? It's like, call it deja vu, because he was experiencing deja vu because he was repeating certain lines and just knowing what was going to be said, because he's like, I just feel a sense of deja vu. Like he just figured out this is all played out in a sense. Now, and I was going to ask, like, how long has this guy been around? But he literally was in jail until a month before everything started to happen. So he wasn't just running around this whole time, reversing time and everything and doing whatever. But he literally went to work right away when he got out to, I guess, take everybody out for taking his time away. It's like, don't understand how precious time is now when I take theirs away. It's a very interesting thing as well to discuss the idea of time itself as well. Like the idea of like, time is so important. Time is the most valuable thing, I think, for everybody, is your time. Like, what do you do with your time? What do I do with my time? Spend a good portion of it on YouTube. That's what I spend a lot of my time on. But I enjoy talking about these shows. I enjoy talking about movies and everything, so that's why I do it. So for him, time was very valuable, of course, and he lost his family in the process and because of a decision he made. And he was able to fix that at the very last moment. Because I was thinking, like, okay, is he going to reverse to where the bomb doesn't drop? But I guess he wouldn't have enough time to stop it. So I'm guessing when Robin went in to try to deactivate it and it shocks him and knocks him out, that there was a failsafe that once it's activated, it can't be stopped. I'm guessing that's why he didn't reverse time and kept trying to reverse back to where he could stop the bomb from going into the thing or prevent it from going off somehow. He literally didn't have because he was thinking, I'm not going to back out of this. This is not going to stop, right? So it's going to drop. The ball is going to drop. I really enjoyed the episode. It's pretty intense. I definitely wasn't expecting this storyline, but it was quite surprising, and to see that now his life is in a better place, that's good. You know, now he didn't experience all of that he did, and he didn't put a bomb and the ball dropped to a poisonous bomb or whatever to go off on New Year's Day or whenever the ball drops for the Happy New Year's. You know, he has a son, presumably his wife is still around, so everything's good. Hopefully, everything's great. So, I'm surprised they didn't show the wife as well. I'm guessing they just wanted to keep it more simple with just him. Because I would have thought they would have had both the son and wife show up at that moment when the ball dropped, but I guess the son was sufficient enough. I don't know. Curious about that, but anyways, seconds kind of makes sense now because he figured out how to do the intervals and reversing time in seconds. He was slowly learning more and more how to do it. So, what you guys think of the episode? I'm curious to know your thoughts, guys. I was not expecting this, but I gotta say, props to the team who came up with this idea and how they executed it, because it was really well done in terms of his perspective of reversing time and going through the motions of everything to kind of perfect it to where he could escape or whatever. And then from their perspective of all the times they think they're going to stop him, and then he's already experienced it, so he's just flowing through all of it like it's nothing. So they're not seeing the reverting time. And also too, when he was looking at the video camera, like nothing was changing, because when he's reverting time, it's not going to show like everything reversing whatever. So to video cameras, nothing's changing. It's literally a flow, and whenever he reverts back to is the exact second or whatever, like nothing changes, like from a video camera perspective. I was thinking about that, but it makes sense that it wouldn't. But anyways, I'm done rambling. Enjoyed the episode. I'm curious to see what happens next. I'm loving the show. We're slowly getting close to the end of the series, but it's been a fun journey so far, and we still have a bit to go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. I'm curious to know what you thought about the episode, guys. Please let me know in the comments below what you thought about this episode and the whole concept of how reversing time and everything. And do you like the explanation of how he got his time powers? I personally think they should have found a different way, but that's just my personal opinion. Hit the mic there, apologies. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.